Good morning. Happy Sunday. I was running a little bit behind this morning. But, yeah. So, what are we doing? Well, we missed last Sunday's stream. I missed it. What should we, what could we do? What are we doing? What will we do? I don't know. Let's see. So our project board has the same things that it's had for a little while. So our choices for the next things up are work on the custom font. I don't know why this is it. I mean, I guess it's content expansion, sure. I do want to do it. I've just been procrastinating on it because it's tedious and I don't really know what I'm doing, but at least half of that. In fact, one of those two things is going to be true for all of this stuff. So the other thing we could do is we could work on modeling. So that's what we have been working on a bit. Idea being brainless. Hello. Good morning.
Brainless Society just got here first and is awesome.
Yes, indeed. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? So good work on these. I'm kind of inclined to do more Blender today. Brainless says doing well. Just installed Arch with a ton of different desktop environments on a VM to test them. Interesting, interesting. I have a I don't know. I think it's not maybe on this activity, but I have a whole browser tab of like NixOS and like Linux setup stuff and like Hyperland, things that I was looking at and being like, oh, I could do some of these things. As far as I've gotten thus far, so we're talking about this, I think a couple of weeks ago now, is I do have Starship for the terminal set up. So there's that. But yeah. Actually, I think that we can see that in VS Code too, yeah? Yeah, there we go. Can we control plus? That just does the whole ID. I guess we can do that. You like Starship? Sure, sure. You can see my local time as of when I opened VS Code anyway. But yeah. Yeah, so there's like dot files from people and like examples of things and stuff. So at some point I will spend more time on that. So we can work on this stuff, or I think the next logical thing to do is to work on scenario 1. You're playing with Neri. I had some tabs about Neri. So Neri is like a window manager, right? Yeah. Scrollable tiling Wayland compositor. I know some of those words. So it's like you have tiled windows, but they scroll across. Each monitor has its own separate window strip. It's interesting. Interesting. I believe I have a tab or two on that one window with it. You've been using Gnome since 2009, so it'd be hard to get used to anything else, but worth a try. Sure. The last time Linux was my main driver, my window manager was Xmonad. To give you a sense of yeah. So being on KDE and this is a nice, you know, a little bit more comfortable coming back from Windows, but eventually I will switch things up. So we could work on Survivor on a car by a road, but we have to model a car, or we could probably find a model. I bet we could find a model of a car. Get used to Windows for you? Yeah, sure. Let me guess, I'm logged out again? Of course. 1 second. Oh, so bright. So bright. Copy. Paste. Interesting. Copy. Paste. Log in. There we go. Back in. Open game art. So we're looking for 3D models this time. I'm gonna search for like a car. CC0. Search. Vehicle assets. Interesting. Or a car kit. So lots of options. Free low poly vehicles pack. Low poly cars. Vehicle assets part 1. So yeah. Oh yeah, Kenny. So what's this look like? So fairly low poly. What do we think about this? Is there... I think of these, like this might be the closest to kind of what I was imagining. Might be too low poly. Okay. This feels... It's still kind of a boxy, rough, kind of lo-fi aesthetic, but maybe more it feels more detailed. Maybe something like this car here, or yeah. Oh, I see. I'm confused. Where's my back button? What's going on? Okay. Did not cope well with being zoomed in. Okay. This is kind of similar to the other one. Let's drop that. And then vehicle assets, huh? Okay. Are these all the same? Just different colors? Probably not that one. Okay. So, we can potentially grab a model here and work on our level 1. We'll just put this in the pile of things. So scenario 1, the idea is you, and in fact we have Godot, so let's bring up Godot. Have a scenario 1 scene. So we have this, but we don't really only put this together like this to test out like navigation, like being able to say, hey, you have to cross the bridge, zombies spawn over here and they can pathfind their way over to there. This is not really what I want for this level. What do I want? What do I want? I think what I would like is a level where I think the environment should be kind of maybe arid. There would be a road roughly going down the middle of it. There's a car that's off to the side of the road. The survivor that we're protecting would be up on the top of the car, and the goal, like this is doing a couple of things, right? So one is that something I would like to explore is maybe doing some like in-game cutscenes sort of stuff, where we'll have like the intro could be they climb up on top of their car, we see zombies coming into the map, that sort of thing, right? But then when you're actually in the game, the survivors on the top of the car, which should, to what end? Well, I think my thought there was to make it easier to defend them for a first kind of tutorial level. Do we want to make it so that basically the survivor is not even reachable by the zombies? That they're effectively safe, right? So that you have all the time in the world to figure out, right, what to do. Maybe, but maybe then we have to make it so that eventually the car gets destroyed. We have to be able to escalate the threat, right? In thinking about this first scenario, one of the things I was thinking of as if this is like, and I've been toying with this idea for a little while, of these scenarios being like this first few being like a tutorial, like walking you through different aspects of the game. Maybe we want this to be, what am I trying to say? So let's launch this. Car defense. Although it's not, there is no car. But like right now, the zombie gets to the survivor and it's game over. Zombies do a lot of damage, survivor doesn't have a lot of health. We could tune those things. You get XP, but you don't get XP, right? Right, because you don't win the scenario. Is that how that works? 697. Go faster. 697. Does it go up? No, it doesn't go up. Great. Also, interesting. Maybe we don't want to leave 4x when you start the scenario again. Anyway. So we want to have some buffer. Oh yeah, this is the thought that I was trying to get to, is that you don't level up in the game until you complete the scenario. So there is not an opportunity to like learn about the tech tree or to do anything. It's pointless to, I think it's probably, it doesn't make sense to tell the player about the tech tree if they can't do anything with it. So we have to wait until we complete the scenario. Maybe start the next scenario to be like, and now you can unlock turrets, right? So the first scenario, you would just be clicking zombies and putting down boxes, defenses. And maybe collecting the scrap boxes that we have, right? We could have some of those in the world. Although we might we might want to change the model to like what the scrap is from not being boxes, since we have those defensive walls that are stacks of crates or whatever they're gonna be once we texture them. So yeah, lots of considerations. Okay. What do I want to do first? I think maybe initially, maybe what I'll do is I'll just take this scenario, I'll rename it, and we'll make an empty file. We'll put down a quad for the ground. And we'll do something. Let's do something. So first of all, I'm gonna rename this because this is confusing otherwise. And then can we can't rename from here. That's fair. Can we show in file system? There we go. Rename. This will be scenario of bridge too far. So what's in this scenario.gd? Nothing. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna delete this. Check something here. So you detach script, save, now delete. Okay, great. Because we don't really need those, we don't need a script on the scenario. We've supplemented that with like a base script. Okay, so how do we... Yeah, it's a custom type. Stage scenario. Is that true for this as well? No. Interesting. Can we change... That explains it. I guess we could just attach the base script to this, and that would be equivalent. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna create a scenario. So we have our custom scenario node. And we're gonna call this scenario 1. This will be our new scenario 1. Alright, so I think maybe it's useful to look at scenario 2 to since scenario 2 was the first scenario that we actually, I think, made after we figured out how the scenario system was going to work, or something along those lines. It's maybe better to look at this one rather than this one, since this one is very this is where we started working on the game, so it may not be fully representative of how things should be. Okay, so in a scenario, we have a directional light. We have some models of things. We have a enemy spawner with a bunch of stuff in it. We have a ground. We have a static body 3D with a collision shape. And so this is the static body 3D that in fact, I think what I'm gonna do, let's do some things here. Let's grab all of this, copy, and we'll paste into here. Yeah, and gives us a place to start, right? So, but we're gonna change we're gonna change things. So we have these spawn surfaces. I think we will keep 2 of them. Why are there animation tracks? Weird. We'll change them around at some point. And there will be waves. I think initially we're just gonna get rid of the extra waves and figure out how we're gonna structure how the scenario plays. I'm just gonna have 1 zombie come in, and it's gonna be a basic zombie. 1. Okay. We have our ground. It's just a mesh. Currently it's 100 meters in size. It has a material. We're gonna do kind of a tannish brown color. And then we have our static body and collision shape 3D. And I think there's some stuff we have to set on the scenario to make this all work. So enemy spawner is the system enemy spawner. UI we leave unset. We will create a new environment. That we will actually gonna reset that and instead save this. So we have a boundary. We'll have to see how all this plays through, but there's our survivor. Okay. Survivor has some settings, has a skin, hit points override, voice pitch. Okay. Excuse me. So with the preview, actually let's get rid of the directional light too. It's better to use this because then we can just adjust it up here in the widget and then add it to the scene, and then we can take the environment and stuff it in the scenario so it'll be used. Right, so I don't know, what is the color of the light from the sun? Sun energy, and it's really bright. Angular altitude. It's noon. So what does azimuth do? I think azimuth doesn't do anything if it's noon. Okay, so shadow max distance. I don't know exactly what that does. Add sun to scene. Okay, so now we have a directional light. And then we can do the preview environment. The sky color can be whiter. A little red in there. Ground color, kind of brownish. How about HSV? Sure, let's go with that. Add environment to scene. So now we take this environment and we will probably save this. How does this work? Oh yeah, so we take this environment, we save it. I think we have a place where we're saving environments, right? Is it inside a config? Yeah. I guess I'm gonna call this like desert. Okay, and then we delete this environment and we load the environment that we just created into there. We'll have to see about how we're gonna balance the XP and stuff as we go forward. So this should be enough, right? So that we can actually run the game and load up scenario 1. Okay, so that's interesting. So did I set it to 30 seconds? Whatever the spawn. There it is. And we're done. All right. Let's see. Can we set the enemy count to 0? So it'll spawn, but nothing will happen. I think that'll just end the game, though, if that happens, because the wave will be empty. I might want to have like a no AI enemy that we can spawn, just so that we can like see it do its thing and then pause effectively without pausing. I guess I could have also paused the game. That's also an option, right? Just pause the game so we can look around, navigate around. So here's the boundary in action. So we can't move the camera beyond the edge. Interesting. So that's a bug. The wave timer should definitely be paused if the game is paused. Hold on. Here, let's use some AI to our advantage here. Also, connect to Godot. Boop, boop, boop. Can you open a bug case? Because it seems that the spawning wave initial timer does not pause when the game is paused. Meaning that when you start the game and you pause the game, the wave timer still will eventually elapse and will trigger the sound and act as if it's going to spawn zombies. Fortunately, zombies do not spawn because the game is paused, which is good, but the wave timer shouldn't be triggered at all because the game is paused. What a great way to open a bug. Anyway, so things I want to do here. I do want a little bit more, like I want the world to be a bit bigger. Like the ground. I'm not really happy with how one thing, it's because the boundary is so close to us, we immediately see it. I think it's supposed to fade in and out based on how close we get to the edge. But the main thing this does that's good is that the boundary prevents us from moving the camera too far away. So what I actually want, things I want, there is a limit to how far we can zoom out. So I think the world needs to be at least big enough that when we zoom out fully, we don't see the edge of the ground. And the zombie spawning locations are outside of the perimeter. So that the zombies can essentially spawn in off screen. No matter where you're zoomed, how you're looking, you can't see where they're spawning in. So they walk in from the edge rather than appearing. So, can we live edit this mesh? Yes. Can we, okay, control does snapping, alt does that. Okay, we don't have a quick way of changing that significantly. So let's go like 400? No, 500? 800? 800? Okay. There we go. Now this has a problem. I think there are a couple of issues here. This is too big of an area. Like, so one, we would probably want to increase the boundary out further. Maybe not though. But even if we did, what are we gonna do? We're gonna spawn zombies out here, off the visible area, and have them walk all the way. That's a long ways to go. That's maybe a little bit too much suspense. So probably what we need to do for this is actually limit how far we can zoom out and have that limit set at the scenario. Because 800 is too big. Like 400 by 400 is probably a reasonable size. Like if we can only see like this far and the zombie spawns over here and the zombie appears and starts walking, that might be good. Maybe even smaller. Maybe like the operable size is like 300 by 300. Right? If we're limiting how far you can zoom out, then you have to, you know, scroll to see more. And not a lot, because the idea would be that you wouldn't be able to scroll all the way to the seam, if you will. So here's a question. What is our current zoom level? Like, what is the zoom level right here? Because this looks good. So where would we see that? Camera 3D. It's somewhere in the camera 3D attributes, isn't it? Like size. Because it's an orthogonal camera. So it looks like about 70 meters is the size that we want for the camera. Okay, so let's make a list of things to do. So, what do you mean there's the, what? There should be a tool. No, there should be a tool to create a GitHub issue available. Try that. You could just leave out your rights. Anyway, things to do. Let's create a branch. Also, we're way zoomed out because I'm I've been, you know, working on things not on stream. Okay, so our bug, wave spawn timer continues during pause. Wave spawn timer and system wave continues to count down the game. Count down when the game is paused, causing the spawn sound to play and the timer to elapse even the game is frozen. Confusing user experience. Let's assume that the rest of this is correct, and I guess I didn't actually look closely. Yeah, okay, it's creating it in the right repository. That's great. All right. Anyway, moving on. Back to the matter at hand. So we want to add a export on the scenario. Script to allow the max and probably not min, probably just max camera zoom / size to be set per scenario. And then set the scenario 1 Zoom to max at 70 meters. I guess that's it. I mean, there's this is actually a bunch of things. We'll figure that out in a second. So this is gonna be, I think we had an issue, right, for this? So we got tools for it's out of date because oh no, I haven't assigned that issue. Okay, sure. Right, I'm filtering by my issues, so I guess I will assign this to myself. Might as well assign all of these to me. It's me or it's Copilot. Anyway. Alright. Okay, so we're working on this issue, which will automatically create a branch for us, assuming I actually clicked on it. I swear I'm clicking on it. Okay. Okay. So, what have we done so far? Okay, we don't even need to look at the diff. Let's commit our changes thus far. What a silly commit message. Move old scenario 1 out of the way and start a new scenario 1. With a desert theme. Okay. So that's what we've done thus far. Amazing progress, right? So in the scenario script here, we can configure some things. So this is like where we have our scenario environment that when we load the scenario, it will get applied to the world. Max zoom distance. No, distance is the wrong word here. Max zoom. Yeah, okay, now it's using the words from my note over here, right? In meters. So that'll be interesting. So now we actually need to apply that, right? So how does that work? So we have a camera script. Camera script does a bunch of things. Oh, hey, look, we have a camera max size already. So presumably in the main script, where does scenario loading happen? Load scenario, maybe. Load scenario scene. Add child. Okay, and this fixes the angle of things, configure boundaries from scenario. So the camera is something that we have a reference to, yeah, here. Good. So I think what we can do is we can configure. Yeah. Like we could do that. I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to say camera dot max size. Now, maybe camera has max size. Maybe. No, it has camera max size. Camera has camera max size. Right? Maybe this property should be the same. That way we can see, yeah, I know it's wrong right now. Calm down. Right? So that way it matches, right? So when we search for camera max size, we get, the thing in the camera script, the thing in the main script, the thing in the main scene that says the default max camera size, and then we see the thing in the scenario that would override it. I guess if it says 300 in here to make things like not change immediately, we can have this also default to 300. And then all of that should mean that when we're in here and we're looking at our environment, if we go back to local and we'll look at our scenario here and say this should actually be 70. Now I don't know if that will doesn't have an immediate effect, but if we restart the game, yeah, this is as far as I can zoom out now, which is maybe fine. Great. And you can see the zombie runs right through the boundary that's here. This is not a physical thing. It's just a visual indicator of where the boundary is. I think we need to increase the boundary. Remove yeah. Increase is a word. Yeah. I think. So let's see. X is this way. If I do this, does that let me... Does that update live? I guess is the question. Doesn't seem like it. I think that happens when the scenario loads. Maybe not even then. Okay, so let's do like negative 100, 100, negative 100, 100. See what that looks like. So we can pan further. That's too far. That lets us get too close to the edge. So let's do like negative 75. It would be cool if we could like interactively move things. That'd be faster. That's awkward. What's up with that? I wonder if that was if that's a bug. Is that if we're panned over here and we can't see the survivor? Or 75 is still too big, or really it's 150. So if we're over here and the zombie spawns and kills the survivor. Okay, so that didn't crash things. Okay, so maybe it was something to do with me clicking out here while things were happening. Anyway, but 50 was too small. Maybe negative 60? 60? Negative 60. 60. I kind of, it makes me wonder if what maybe I want to do here is actually just have like a single value that defines like the, if it's always going to be a square, then maybe I just want a single value there. I don't know. Okay. So that's still just a little bit. So maybe negative 59. 59. Negative 59. 59. Save. Reload. If only it would actually reload. This is us fully zoomed out. Yeah, okay. So we can go, let me be like negative 55, 55, 55. Okay. Even then, huh? You know what could be interesting? So the way the scenarios work is that we build the scenarios kind of like on the grid, if you will, right? So as in aligned with the axis. And then when the scenario is loaded by the game, it turns everything 45 degrees so that we get that kind of isometric kind of perspective from the camera without having to do a bunch of math for moving the camera around. Extra math. I wonder if we should do the same thing for the boundary. Of actually having the boundary rotated. That way the kind of the movement of the camera is bound in a way that's aligned with the rotated world. Unfortunately, I think that means we have to go back to actually doing math ourselves to calculate. Hey Marty, thanks for the lurk. Hope you're doing well. Okay, how do we use boundary min x? We have that's documentation. We have more documentation. We have a min x here. Oh, I see. World min x on the camera. So apply boundary constraints. We'll take constraint. Okay, so orbit center and constrain it between world min x and world max x, and then z. Let's see. More challenging to do this sort of thing but turned 45 degrees. Maybe I won't, and I'll just suffer with tweaking this. It will. So let's go back to 50, negative 50, negative 50, 50. All that really means is that maybe we can't quite get all the way to the edge. I mean, that's the point, right? But like so. I think this is good for a couple of reasons. Thinking about it, right? So, we may need to make the zombies move slower anyway, regardless. We need a good amount of time between when zombies spawn in and when they can get to the survivor. There is a reason why we're putting the survivor on top of a car, is that I think my idea, anyway, of like, of this is to make it so they're essentially invulnerable. So, at least initially. Now, probably what we'll do is we'll spawn in a bunch of zombies and we will make the car destructible. And so the zombies will be able to take out the car as an obstacle. And then the survivor will be screwed. Totally screwed. But that'll be some motivation, right? To build defenses. Because the idea will be that, yeah, you can click the zombie. And we'll probably have to make the zombies weaker as well. But you will need to build defenses to be able to hold off the zombies, to slow them down so you can click them. Now, part of what needs to happen here. Ooh, okay, we found this error again. Cannot get AABB on a null value. An enemy spawner. Enemy spawner. Line 114. So... Oh, yes. So this is because, probably in our scenario... No, in enemy spawner, we have spawn areas. This is an array that has 4 slots right now, and 2 of them are null. One, I'll do that, but I think also I will... Let's say spawn areas. This picks random. Do we want to I mean, this is going to be a source of bugs, like when we're designing levels, unless we filter out nulls. I don't suppose we have like a filter. What are the methods on a array? Right, spawn areas dot slice, sort, shuffle, set, rfind, resize, remove at, reduce. Yeah, reduce is interesting. Map. There is a filter. Calls the given callable on each element in the array and returns a new filtered array. Okay. So we would... Yeah, we could do that. Do we reference spawn areas again ever? No. Do we really want to do this every time we call find? I mean, it doesn't matter, but we can... The spawn arrays array, the spawn areas array doesn't change at runtime, so we could call this, we could do this in ready, right? Of like spawn areas equals spawn areas filter, and we can do a warning there. And then it's pointless to like worry about it being do this. So pick random is a variant, and we're just saying, yeah, generates an error and returns null if the array is them. Okay, generates an error. Okay, and returns null. Okay, so I'm not gonna bother logging anything here. We'll just return. Well, here's the thing. Find random spawn position has the same sort of situation where really what it should do is it should return a vector 3 or null. Yeah, so this needs to return a variant. Right? And then when we call find random spawn position, let's say var spawn position. Nope, spawn position is that. If it's not equal to null, then yeah, do that and do all the rest of these things. So spawn enemy is called by something. Oh, by the wave. It's the same for once of a monad situation here. This is where I could, if this was TypeScript, I would be like, it's a Node 3D, or we could do various things, but I guess this is also going to be a variant, where we should just change this to, if it's equal to null, return null, else do these things. Cool. Okay, so that didn't really fix anything, but maybe that will be one less foot gun for us in the future. Of like, oh, we forgot to truncate the array. Anyway. Okay, well, we did all of these things. That was easy, actually. So... What... oops. Variable type is being inferred from a variant value, so it will be typed as variant. Warning treated as error on wave GD line 112. Alright, so we used colon equals, which it didn't like because this returns a variant. Okay. How about now? You good with just a bare equals? Yep, okay, cool. All right, so we have a bright yellow world that we can't go all the way to the edge of the map with, which is good. The zombie spawns too close, so the whole point of this was to have the zombie actually spawn off the edge of the world. So let's actually do that by moving the spawn surfaces away. That's the wrong handle. How about this handle? There it is. So we do something like this, right? Now I'm gonna leave these visible because maybe we'll see if we can see them. That's the thing. I don't want to be able to see those places. Yeah, so I don't want to be able to see that in the world. So what we can do actually is turn these 45 degrees and put them in the corners. Yeah. Now, will these be visible? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, and so somehow an hour, we have burned an hour thus far. So we need to take a break here. So Twitch can run ads, and I should like get up and stretch my legs. But yeah, I will return in just a couple of minutes, and we will continue making incremental progress on this.